The search for life on other planets, in neighboring galaxies, or within our own has been one of the important goals of modern astronomers. The quest to answer the question, "Are we alone in the universe?" has reached a new level now, as telescopes with powerful cameras are directly exploring unfamiliar worlds in space. Humanity has come a long way from relying solely on home telescopes and radio transmitters sending out search signals. Why is NASA ignoring a topic that has accompanied humanity for thousands of years and hiding everything related to extraterrestrial civilizations? In 2008, Edgar Mitchell, a renowned astronaut and the sixth person to walk on the moon during the Apollo 14 mission in 1971, gave an interview to Kerrang! Radio station. He publicly expressed his belief in the existence of extraterrestrial life and claimed that, in his opinion, aliens had already visited Earth and made contact with humans. He also asserted that governments of many countries were concealing this information from the public. It is interesting to note that in 1994, Edgar Mitchell was present in Russia at an event dedicated to parapsychological research. After his presentation, journalists had the opportunity to ask him a few questions. One of the questions posed to the astronaut was whether he had seen aliens on the moon. Smiling, Mitchell responded that he would have been delighted to meet extraterrestrials himself, but he did not encounter them on the moon. The significant change in a person's opinion, especially someone familiar with space exploration over a span of 14 years, raises questions about the underlying reasons. Is it possible that NASA restricts certain statements from mission participants? Did Sir Mitchell discover something new that altered his perspective on the matter? Or perhaps, one might consider the possibility that he grew older and became engrossed in fantasies. It's worth noting that at the time of the Kerrang! Interview, Mitchell was 77 years old. There is an opinion that under the pretext of national security, the agency conceals real discoveries regarding extraterrestrial civilizations and visit of aliens to Earth, and this viewpoint is gaining more followers. Unfortunately, American leaders are adept at the art of deception with their words. Recall how politicians sincerely and with open smiles convincingly talk about the simplicity of solving many global problems. In a similar manner, Mitchell responded to all questions about UFOs and aliens, claiming to have no information on these topics. However, there comes a time in people's lives when they no longer fear for their careers or even their lives: old age. That is why many individuals begin to express their own opinions, particularly in their elderly years. According to Mitchell's words, extraterrestrial beings do not differ significantly from the depictions of science fiction movies and illustrations accompanying UFO-related articles. They have large heads with enormous eyes and frail small bodies. Technologically, they're far more advanced compared to humans to the extent that, as Mitchell warned, quote, "If they're hostile, we wouldn't stand a chance against them." The former astronaut also mentioned the incident in Roswell in 1947, where, according to his words, an extraterrestrial spacecraft crashed. The Roswell incident became one of the key events for UFO enthusiasts. In early July, a farmer discovered debris from a flying apparatus on his property in New Mexico. He reported his finding to the police, and soon after, U.S. Air Force soldiers arrived at the crash site. They collected and removed all the debris, as is customary in events related to national security. Meanwhile, the city newspapers were already filled with headlines about the crash of a flying saucer. Subsequently, the media announced that all the debris was part of a weather balloon. In the late 1990s, the story gained new details when the Air Force Press Service disclosed information about monitoring the placement of Soviet nuclear weapons using airborne balloons. One of them crashed above a farm in Roswell. Despite the released report, the city did not cease to be a pilgrimage site for enthusiasts of paranormal phenomena. Let's return to the high-profile interview of astronaut Edgar Mitchell. He stated that over the past 60 years, extraterrestrials have visited the planet on multiple occasions, and he himself was fortunate enough to witness such a visit. Mitchell refers to the press, claiming that one can learn about many similar events through newspapers, as they eagerly cover each one. Soon after, NASA responded to the media. A representative of the agency stated that NASA does not engage in tracking UFOs and has no connection to information regarding the existence of extraterrestrial life on Earth or anywhere else in space. At the same time, the representative acknowledged Mitchell as an outstanding American, but emphasized their disagreements on this matter. What do former NASA employees, no longer bound by corporate agreements on consensus, say about extraterrestrial beings? Richard Hoagland, a former NASA employee, expressed his viewpoint in his interview. "I believe that the Apollo project confirmed the existence of an ancient, albeit human, civilization on the moon. It was established by our ancestors so long ago that it makes us wonder. However, we have only been able to disclose a small portion of the information obtained by NASA regarding the past habitation of the entire solar system by humans." Richard Hoagland is known to Americans and the popular science community as a writer and conspiracy theorist. He has released several books that expose space projects and discuss the possible existence of ancient civilizations on the Moon and Mars, and delve into conspiracy theories in modern society. In the past, Richard Hoagland served as a scientific advisor for CBS News during the coverage of the Apollo manned lunar program. He also held a leadership position at the Hayden Planetarium and worked as a consultant for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. In the fall of 2007, Richard Hoagland was supported by Ken Johnston, a former head of the photo laboratory. They held a joint press conference where they presented a collection of photographs that supposedly confirmed the existence of a civilization on the moon that had left behind archaeological evidence. Journalists were shown images of objects on the lunar surface that appeared to have artificial origins. According to Johnston, NASA employees would remove any details from mission photographs that could raise suspicions about their natural origins before publication. He claimed to have witnessed NASA personnel being instructed to airbrush the lunar sky on negatives in the late 1960s. When he asked why, he was told to avoid confusing the astronauts because the sky on the moon should be black. Richard Hoagland, while studying photographic materials during his time at NASA and later in Johnston's archives, identified a series of unnaturally geometric objects, cubic, pyramidal, spherical, and conical, with significant height and glass-like structures. In photograph AS-1032-4822, taken by the Apollo 10 mission's camera, Hoagland discovered an extraordinarily precise rectangular convex three-dimensional pattern. The rows of lines resembled streets, and all the details suggested that the image depicted an ancient city, heavily damaged by long-term meteorite bombardment. Hoagland referred to it as the Los Angeles on the moon. Currently, no hypothesis can explain the formation of this object through natural means, leading to speculation that it could be an artificially constructed city. Mars is a planet about which books have been written for 2 centuries. On the photographs of the surface of the red planet, lines also have been discovered that draw attention with their geometrical nature. Parallel and perpendicular intersections, triangles, and circles resembled aerial views of ancient city ruins in Earth's deserts. In response to numerous questions from the public, NASA stated that these were tricks of light and shadow, the consequences of erosion, soil displacement, and other processes natural to Mars. However, all these theories provide little explanation for the phenomenon of the face, a figure with sculptural features visible in many space photographs. In order to refute its artificial origin, a series of photographs of the Martian region called Cydonia, where the object of interest is located, were taken in succession. Unfortunately, the first photo taken in 1976, which caused a sensation and sparked speculation about extraterrestrial civilizations, turned out to be deceiving. High-resolution imaging with varying lighting conditions reveals a hill and a small desert, bearing no resemblance to the face depicted in the initial photograph. In their defense, proponents of the Martian civilization theory accused NASA of deliberately manipulating the color corrections of the newer generation of photographs. They argue, quote, "The planet's surface is not bright red as you claim. It resembles Arizona, blue sky, reddish-brown soil, and gray rocks." By making Mars unlike Earth, scientists eliminate excessive hopes of ancient cities' existence. At least, this is the viewpoint held by supporters of the space agency conspiracy theory. NASA has ceased to remain silent about extraterrestrials. Unidentified aerial phenomena, as they are referred to within the agency, are events in the sky that cannot be identified as conventional aircraft, drones, or known natural phenomena. They are of interest from the perspective of national and aviation security. Today, such investigations align with one of the goals of the agency: NASA's primary focus is to determine what data can be collected to scientifically understand the nature of UAP and ensure flight safety. In 2022, NASA selected 16 participants to form an independent group of scientists dedicated to studying unidentified aerial phenomena or unidentified flying objects. Over the course of 9 months, data collected from civilian, governmental, commercial projects, and other sources will be gathered and analyzed by the independent group. This process aims to unravel the nature of UAPs. Subsequently, NASA will propose a roadmap for future collection and analysis of data on celestial events. This study will focus on solely non-classified data. The group's comprehensive report with conclusions is expected to be published in mid-2023. Daniel Evans, the assistant to the Deputy Administrator for Research within NASA's Science Mission Directorate, serves as the official responsible for organizing this investigation. Leading the independent research group is David Spergel, president of the Simmons Foundation. Our mission has brought together leading global scientists, data and artificial intelligence specialists, as well as aerospace security experts, with one specific goal: to tell us how to apply science to the study of UAP, stated Evans. The results will be published in accordance with the principles of transparency, openness, and scientific integrity that guide NASA. When forming an opinion about extraterrestrial life, it is important to distinguish between the opinions of individuals and official conclusions and confirmations. The scientific community continues to explore space and search for evidence of extraterrestrial life, but so far there have been no reliable and unequivocal scientific proofs of contact with aliens or visits to Earth. Or is it that even in the era of smartphones with cameras in every pocket, can we not know the whole truth?